right, good night, good night. Sorry for the zoom in right now, but I am going to go ahead and actually definitely take that off right now. Now, what we're going to do is this video itself is going to end up being the capacitors that I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heighten this up right now to make it easier for everybody. And I'm going to skin out one of these containers because this one is extremely full and I got to be careful if I do open it right now. So I'm going to put this out to show you guys how this would actually look as your special colorful scrap. The crazy part is I actually had all of these separated by color, and I decided, I was like, nah, bump that. I'll go ahead and put it out right now, right? So as you're looking at this, this is so beautiful right now, and I absolutely love the way I have these and how organized I am with them. So what you're actually seeing here, this is just beautiful, man. Oh, the scrap there. This is my specialized capacitor scrap. Okay. Now, when I say capacitor scrap, capacitor scrap. Okay. So I actually put it in right now. And some people say, are capacitors worth scrapping right now? Palladium and platinum recovery of scrap capacitors. It's all online right now where people are actually scrapping it up for the silver that's actually in them. Now, here's the thing. Some of these, depends on which one it is, may contain gold. Some of them may contain tantalum in them as well. So one of the things that we're actually going to end up doing right now is just going through this and to show you why it's very important to have it. Okay. So make sure when you do scrap these out, use gloves, and let's quickly go over some of these here. Now, as you can see, there's so many different colors. You have blues, reds, yellows, oranges, greens, different things there. There's even different color greens. Now, why are these important? You're going to find these everywhere for free. Okay, everywhere. I have, look, this is just part of the bottle. I have an entire another bottle of these right now, and I love them, not just for the colors they are, how pretty they look, but one of the things I would actually do is I would actually just run this through water, shake it up, and just to get all the dust off of it right now, because it's been sitting inside of a container for a while, okay? There's a gentleman who actually does have some of this there, and he's actually on a YouTube video putting it in a coconut and burning it, okay? Now, let's go through what we actually definitely have here right now. And yeah, okay. So what this actually would be is we're going to have to look through some of this here. Now, I'm looking at this here, and I'm seeing something interesting. Look at this guy. Look at this one here. Right? Capacitors come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. This one here is an actual multicolored one, which means someone actually put a special wrapping around this. Now, none of them are painted, but several of them will have a special coat on them connected to them, which is a glue. So some of them will actually come out of computer power packs that plug into the wall, and they'll actually have glue connecting them to other circuits. This one here actually has a piece of glue in it, this white glue, that will connect it to another circuit, and I had to take a pliers and pry it off. Now, as you can see here, you have some pretty big ones here. Now, we can read what these are. MPP 225K2H, okay? And that's the long one there. Now, the good part is these numbers are the same, so someone would have actually spent time putting this. This might have come from a stereo or something, but these big blue ones are freaking huge, man. Like, the size of these things is amazing compared to something else, okay? Now, another thing you're looking at is you have these big brown ones here, which would be 225K, 250 volt. Now, they are going to have some metal on it. So when you do melt them, please remember that there's metal on them there. You do have some orange ones. The orange ones are a bit smaller. However, I do have some orange ones that are a lot bigger. Now, this is a 1.2 DC, and this is a 225 PY100 684K, right? Very, very nice. Very beautiful things here. I absolutely love this stuff right now. Just looking at the colors and knowing the fact that these things actually contain silver is just absolutely amazing. And it is, man, this thing is, these things are absolutely, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, I really do love actually doing scrap right now, because you can't go ahead and say you don't love stuff like this. This here right now would be a different capacitor. There's some writing on it, a 2R58. SCK, which is very nice. Now, again, these do actually contain silver in them. Now, what you're going to have to do is find a way to melt them. Now, here's the thing. Again, as I said, some of these have coatings on them. So before you throw these into a melting pot to melt them off, you got to get the rubber out, because this rubber is going to cause a massive amount of black smoke. Again, they're rubber. Ooh, man, look at you. Big black, SG326. Probably find which company actually made this. And then you have special coatings on some of them. Some of them have a darker coating. Some of these are actually still connected, by the way, which I believe was actually used with a wire cutter to get them off the board. Beautiful as well. Absolutely love these things here. This one has another coating on it, which is huge. And it actually appears to be filled with resin. Yeah, so there's resin over this, which is another thing. So when the capacitor comes in and you accidentally break it, you tend to peel it off, and you're going to have plastic wrapping here, and you're going to have another metal piece here, which basically goes through, and then the metal on the bottom. Okay, these things hold a massive amount of power. Try not to touch some of them. Try to use gloves if you're real careful with them, which is just another amazing thing there that you actually have. Now, some of them capacitors come in all shapes and sizes. You have some weird looking components like these, which may not be capacitors, but I threw them in there. You got some dark green M446s in here as well. So as I said, now, what is the equation of these right now? Because I did a previous video of oscillators. If you've actually seen my collection for the oscillators there. So right now, I'm going to underline this. That was for oscillators, to actually see what we actually have, which is definitely good. Now, when it comes to things like this, the amount of silver you get out of it may be about, because the gentleman actually didn't weigh it right now. So what I believe I was looking at is he's got maybe about 100 grams in here or so to 1 gram, because he's rolling it around on his finger right now. As you can clearly see, that's the amount that he got out of it right now. So if we're looking at this as carefully as we can, what I have is, for at least 100 grams of these, you might only get 1 gram of silver. Now, most of you are basically saying that's pretty low. Here's the thing. When it comes to silver oscillators, it's very different, because there's a lot of metal behind it. Now, with these, there's a lot of plastic, and they do have to be burned off. But this equation here is still better technically than some other things, because this here is, this would be what, a 1 out of 1 to 100. And that would be close to, God knows, maybe about 8 something. All right. So for these right now, I haven't weighed them, but let's say I have 20 pounds of them, right? And I'd have to convert this 20 pounds into the grams. So how would that effectively work, right? So let's get a calculator right now. If I get a calculator, and what are we going to look at? Let's say 20 pounds times 454. I'm going to get 9080 in grams, right? And then in order to figure out what that would be, I'm going to divide that by 100, and that will give me 908. So that will give me 908, right? And this into that is 9 times, so I'm probably going to get 9 grams out of all of that. Now, that's why I basically say, most of you like, dude, 9 grams, because that's not really going to be worth it. Because when you look at that right now, 9 grams times 0.7 is actually about $6, right? So right now, with all of this scrap here and all of this here, it's going to be about $6. Now, that's not effectively worth it to anyone. To be honest, you're probably better off just selling this online for like $50. Like if I could sell all of that for $50 and somebody buys it and they use it as a project, yeah, because some of these you can actually still use and hook up. That's why I say you have to really know your mathematics behind it. Because if you don't, you're going to spend a lot of money right now in time. For me, I find them for free, so I'm not concerned. But here's the thing: the amount of nitric acid you need, the amount of metal is very, very different right now. That's why I basically said if I see them for free, I'll stack them up. If I don't, I don't. That's just basically how it is. All right, that's the video for you guys right now. Produms to Diver out.